Hi, my name is Ruth Mwangi. I come from Nairobi, Kenya, in Africa. I work with Grassroots Economics Foundation as the program director. What we do at Grassroots Economics, we work with SMEs. These are small and medium scale enterprises, both in the slums and villages of Kenya. And what happens is we work with the networks of vendors, craftsmen, schools, to help them provide themselves credit so that they can trade with each other when the national currency is scarce.
Which cities do you work in particular?
We work in Nairobi and Mombasa. Mombasa is in the coastal area of Kenya.
Right, and there are very large populations of poor people?
Oh yes, Nairobi has the urban population, 61% of the urban population live in informal settlements, and we work in these informal settlements of Nairobi, namely Kibera, Kawangware and Kangemi.
And specifically, what are you doing to help them to be less fragile with regard to the currency or the economic systems?
Yeah, so you'll find that during harsh economic times, these vendors often have goods and services to trade, but they lack the medium of exchange, which is money. I mean, the national currency, which is the Kenyan shilling, and they end up taking debt, taking goods on credit from each other, and this really reduces the trust in the community. But with the community currency that they have created themselves, they're able to trade, complement the national currency using the community currency, and in one way or another, they've been able to trade their debts. So at the end of the day, if a child was supposed to miss school because they don't have enough money for tuition, the teacher can accept part of the payment in community currency, and the parents are able to put food on the table because they can trade they can buy food using the community currency.
And a lot of people within the community accept this kind of, like, shopkeepers and school teachers and like different kinds of people?
Yeah. So at first it was very hard to have them accept, because this is something, much as currency are very complex, and so it needed a lot of capacity building and really training them on how the voucher or the community currency works. But first, the one thing we do, we ensure that we work with already existing businesses who trade within themselves. Okay. So these are businessmen and women who would have, they've already formed a community, they live in the same community, they know each other because of the business relationship they have. So they already kind of, know that I buy my charcoal from so and so, and I take my child to this hospital or clinic. So after the training and understanding, it becomes easier for them to start accepting the community currency as a voucher.
How long has this been going on?
The first pilots were done in 2010, and the first launch of our first community currency called Bangla Pesa. There's an area called Bangladesh in Mombasa, and the first pilot was, the first currency was launched in 2013. And this is how it looks. Well, we had an older version. The highest denomination is 50, which is equal to half a dollar or 50 cents. And this note can only be used within that particular and endorsed community. So, for example, in the Bangladesh community, it would have a stamp here saying Bangla Pesa. Pesa is, as you know, is a Swahili for money, or also
Hindi, yes.
Hindi for money. So this is what they use, and so it has been running officially since 2013. Yes.
And approximately, do you know how many people are using this now?
Yes. Approximately, we have about 280 people in each of the communities we work with. Right now, we're working in 6 communities in Kenya.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic.
So 280 approx people per community.
And like, how much money would they be able to save on average? Like, if they use this a few times, then?
Yeah. Would they be able to save? So we credit them with 400 worth of this. That's just like $4, because that is the amount they would be using in 1 or 2 days. So they would be able to save at least about 20% of the national currency every day, which would probably go into their savings, long-term savings, or anything that they really need to buy outside of the community.
Great. And are you planning to kind of expand this in some way?
Yes, we have had so many requests to expand in other villages and other parts of Kenya. The challenge with expanding is that it needs a lot of training again, capacity building, and it's also quite expensive to start a community currency program. So what we're doing right now is we've started a community currency course, which trains people on how to start their own currency. So at the end of the day, we as grassroots economics do not need to be there physically. We've had a couple of students, both from Kenya and outside of Kenya, who've come visited us to sit in for the 2-week course. And they've gone back, and now they're trying to do a feasibility study and see whether it's something that's viable. We've also expanded to Uganda, Kampala, Uganda, who invited us about 1.5 years ago to start a similar program in Kampala. The tricky part about Uganda is that the people inviting us, who are an equivalent to the municipality in Kampala, want to roll it out in the whole of Kampala, and that's a couple of million people.
Wow.
The challenge with that is that we don't have experience working with very many people, and so we're working on a digital currency for them, and that's what we hope to pilot in the next coming months.
Are you connected with any of the other global, other community currencies elsewhere outside?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So when you talk about community currencies in Africa, you're talking about grassroots economics, but we do get invited to conferences, community currency conferences, and we exchange community currencies. And here are some of the examples of like the time credit, Palmas in Brazil, and very many others. So we are connected.
Great. Anything else you want to add?
Yes, I think these alternative methods of trade and any other alternative ways of living, as we continue to think about those, we should also, organizations should think about how sustainable can they be. Are they are the next generations going to find these sustainable alternatives? So as we think about that, we need to think about the sustainability of whatever programs that we do. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Ruth.
You're welcome.